Live. Are we live? Yeah, we're live.
We're
Adam's
kicking it
not
live.
Here. Adam's not here, but I'm sure he'll show up eventually.
What a disappointment.
Yeah, very disappointing. Welcome to the pre-show, everybody. This is the part of the show that is the start of the show where we talk about what we're going to do on the show. Should be fun, huh?
Yeah. Lots of fun.
Segment one, we're just going to talk about, hey, what kind of week did you have? I had a pretty good week. Not really. But we got some news. There's new comics from DC. I was sharing out the show. Sorry, I was distracted. New books from DC, new books from Marvel. We're definitely going to talk about fucking WandaVision. What? WandaVision. It's a bit divisive, I would say, but I don't know. We'll talk about it. There's also other movie and show news, like castings and things like that. I got a dope bit of food news that I'm very excited about.
More marshmallow flavored.
No, it's
Reese's.
a savory. It's a more savory food news this week. No Moment of Destruction this week, but we do have Transformers number 27 next week. That'll be
speaking
and
of
then,
Transformers,
top three. We'll talk about comics. The last bit of official pre-show news, and Adam's not here. Geekterion Collection has been scheduled. We're doing it the 19th with the Comic Book Bullies. Eli and Leroy are going to join us. We're watching Aliens. That's this Tuesday, the 19th at 7:30 Central Time. Leroy's got work. I did do the
hey!
Good call, David. Good call. But we also have scheduled the next top five for the 26th. It's top 5 Star Wars movies. We're just going to rank our top 5 Star Wars movies. Might get a little heated. I doubt it. That's all I got. What else? Anything else you guys need to cover? Go ahead, Taylor.
Well, I was just going to say about Star Wars. I don't know that any of us are like vitriolic super fans, so I think it should mostly be, fairly cordial.
I am, man.
But I don't know.
If you don't know your boss from your Kratos, I don't know who you are anymore.
Yeah, but no one cares about your opinion. So.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And February's picks, man, I haven't even thought that far yet. We definitely need to do the top 5 runs, comic book runs, or start doing or start doing like top 5 movies by director, top 5 movies by actor, top 5 movies by.
That could be fun. I mean,
I ain't watching all those Godzilla movies, David. I ain't doing it.
You wouldn't
think of a director. A director that would be a good like top 5, like maybe Ridley Scott or somebody.
Ridley Scott would be great. Any director, dude. I mean,
James Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron. I don't know if Cameron's got enough movies to do a top 5.
I mean, okay, there's plenty of directors you can do it for, but I don't know that it's necessarily like a
nerdy
geeky thing to do like the top 5 like Gary Marshall movies or something.
Well, Kevin Smith.
That's nothing against Gary Marshall. I just think he's kind of outside of our wheelhouse.
Kevin Smith, we could rate that might not be up your alley.
Sure, yeah.
But
I'd have to sit that one out, but yeah.
You should watch all those movies though; they're great.
Well, what about Jon Favreau?
Jon Favreau, that's a good one too, man. Zathura, I love that shit.
Zathura is a pretty solid Jumanji ripoff. Yeah.
It's Jumanji in space, and it's dope. It's like those movies you see on Amazon that are like Jurassic Nation.
Yeah,
the ripoffs of all the awesome movies.
Yeah.
Transmorphers,
Guardians of the Universe.
We get like the Brazilian Disney ripoff type deals. Have you ever seen those? They have like their own version of like Up and Cars.
I
and
loved
shit
it.
Like
I love that shit, dude. That's so good.
Oh, like was it Velocipaster?
Totally different thing.
What else?
So yeah, it should be a great show. It's 7, so let's kick this bad boy off. I'm not going to use the new one.
Oh, use the new one, Goma.
I'm waiting on Leroy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know which one this is.
Okay, that's
good. It's true. The show is not good.
No, it isn't. You should see our views.
Oh my gosh! I'm sort of like talking shit us in like a sarcastic, ironic sort of way. You're like, no, we suck.
cooking it, David. You need to rein it in. You're coming in real hot with your bullshit today.
Greetings, geeks! Welcome back to another episode of This Geek in Comics, Outright Geekeries, comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
Man, Taylor's right. You're at like an 8. I need you to back it down to like a 5 or maybe a 6 if you can.
I could.
I'm your co-host Gomer. With me
not.
as always, aka David Taylor. Adam's not here. I hope he's okay.
Adam is on special assignment.
He didn't message us or anything, so
Don't
maybe he
cover
just
for him,
forgot.
David. He's flaking on us.
Yeah, he's flaking on us.
Oh, well.
Segment 1, we just talk about what we did this week. I am rewatching the Star Wars movies, of course.
The Star Wars
They're
movies.
wonderful. They're wonderful. Getting primed up for our top 5 Star Wars movies later on this month. But I rewatched, dude, this was kind of weird. I was drinking as usual last night, Saturday night.
Hi, Boogie.
And going through what should I watch? And Revenge of the Nerds. Awesome. Hit from the 80s.
Yes.
There's a huge problem in this movie that I forgot about.
Which
this
is
crazy rape scene in there that isn't.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Boogie.
Oh yeah.
What's up, Boogie? Boogie's awesome. Check them out. I mean, Wrestling Council. He's got Talking Balls. It's not really my wheelhouse, but the Wrestling Council's cool. Yeah, dude's
Kind of fun.
shit. It used to do Comic Cast. I think we've got a thing scheduled for sometime this month. Me and Boogie with some other jokers doing. What the hell were we watching? Major League. We're gonna do a viewing party for Major League. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, Boog. Revenge of the Nerds Part 1 has a weird rape scene in it.
Yeah. And
It does,
Star
yeah.
Wars theme.
But I mean, I'm not taking anything away
Sort
from
of.
it. That is terrible. That is, yeah, it's like a weird rape scene. Otherwise, man, what an empowering movie. Holy crap. I had forgotten. Now, I guess looking through it with an older lens and, nerd and shit like that. But yeah, dude, what a great movie. Sorry.
It is.
Except for the
I
rape.
always liked Revenge of the Nerds too. When they had
Where they're
found,
on
like,
vacation.
when they went on vacation, got stranded on the island, and
Very
ended up finding
political,
like
very-
that amphibious assault vehicle.
Yeah, very political. Left over from the Bay of Pigs invasion.
Yep.
Good mind there, David. Because I watched Revenge of the Nerds too, like right after the Revenge of the Nerds one. But John Goodman was in that. I had forgotten about that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He was the coach. He was the asshole coach.
He was the coach for the jocks.
The adults. Well,
yeah,
all
the alpha.
coaches are coaches for jocks, unless we're talking about
Well,
like
the jock
video games or chess.
I had
Taylor,
forgotten that John Goodman was in that
frat,
movie.
the jock frat. That's what
Yeah.
he was. He was the guy for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Taylor, what you do this week? Anything fun?
I did get started on a new D&D campaign with a group of people. I'm playing with the revised Beastmaster that they introduced in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So, not to get too into D&D here, but the original Beastmaster is the consensus worst subclass in the game. And now I guess that's kind of official now that they've released an official do-over for it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, there was
But the new one's pretty good.
Weren't there a lot of Rangers subclasses that got some reworks?
Oh, the Ranger got fucked hard in the original Player's Handbook for 5th edition. Yeah.
I don't know are you talking about the 3.5 Beastmaster like prestige class?
Nope, I'm talking about the Beastmaster Ranger archetype from 5th edition.
Yeah.
Okay. But what was it a remake of?
The Beastmaster. Okay, so all the D&D classes in 5th edition have subclasses, and the Ranger had 2, both of which were pretty bad, but the Beastmaster was like amazingly bad.
I see what you're saying.
But, David's right that the Ranger already got the shaft in the first place, because you know how like when they release a video game and they release DLC with it that was pretty chopped out of the original game and then like added on as DLC?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what the Ranger subclasses were, because they took like the animal companion and like extra monster slaying abilities and they separated them out into 2 separate subclasses. So, but
yeah, the Colossus Slayer, I actually played as the Ranger, my second character. Ended up going with like the Colossus Slayer subclass because it was better.
There was a three in Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. You could have, or maybe it was Pathfinder, one or the other. You could have like prestige classes where if you met a certain prerequisite, you could adopt these new things. It's kind of like a subclass.
Yeah.
But they had a Beastmaster in one of those, and it was dope.
Well, there was a Beastmaster
every
there.
three levels, you got another animal companion.
Well, the regular Ranger already had an animal companion, though. Here, they took that out, and you had to take the subclass to get it.
Oh, yeah, that's lame.
In the original version, it was either you do something or your animal does something. So it had the worst action economy of any subclass.
Oh, that sucks.
It was bad. It was just really, really bad.
Dude, I played a Beastmaster in 3.5, and it got hard. I got like 4 animal companions by the time it got to the end. They got hard to deal with. So,
yeah, that's true enough.
Like level 15 or 16, my Dungeon Master was like, fuck, the hell with this, because I wasn't having fun. He was definitely not having fun. He just had a stray fireball wipe them all out. He gave me a squirrel. Just one. But the squirrel was a polymorphed wizard who accidentally polymorphed himself so well that he couldn't go back. So he had like level 8 magic.
So
your squirrel, it was dope, dude. It was dope.
Your squirrel was Merlin from Sword in the Stone.
Right? Yeah, that's where he got the idea, I guess. But yeah, I had like a polar bear, and he's like, dude, you can't go in to a cave with your fucking polar bear. He doesn't fit in the cave. You know, and it just got so back and forth. And well, why did I even take animal companions then? And he's like, I'll fix it, you know. And yeah, that squirrel was the shit. The best scout ever.
Sometimes as a dungeon master, you let the players go a little too far with what would seem like a fun, neat idea at the time, and then like, oh no, I've made them all powerful.
I mean, and that's kind of what it was. But it was a prestige class right out of the book.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was like, no, what harm could it do? And then by the end, combat was just a mess, dude. You know?
I bet that was Pathfinder, because Pathfinder was probably a little too generous with what the players could get.
Yeah.
Like, you got pretty bonkers in Pathfinder. But
David, anything?
Anyway, I guess that's enough getting into the weeds.
My Ranger, my Ranger didn't have an animal companion. My Ranger was focused on bringing down big enemies and Hunter's Mark, man.
Yeah.
Hunter's Mark
is fine, but I'd rather be a fighter, you know?
Yeah. But I ended up like getting gear for like a third attack and all fun stuff, but I had to take like disadvantage on those rolls. And at one point in time, I rolled something on the random chart and ended up getting like a jar with a demon eye that had true sight. And it was like, well, you can put the eye in if you want. I'm like, no, that's not my character. You know, it wasn't part of my character.
What else? What did you do, Dave? Anything? Nothing.
It just worked.
Cool story, bro. I did everything that every human has ever done since the dawn of society.
Well, it wasn't an overly exciting week compared to the previous week when you're like, oh gosh, is it time for Civil War?
All right, yeah. We're gonna get into WandaVision and some other movie and TV news, but some new comics were announced. Green Lantern #1 by Jeffrey Thorne and Dexter Soy. The art's gonna be great. $5, April 6th, 40 pages.
Is this a future state one?
No, this is just a new Green Lantern.
Yeah, anything that's coming out after, I think, February, so like March and beyond, we're past future state by that point.
Can we stop giving Guy Gardner a bowl cut, please?
Okay.
It's his classic look.
It is.
But he looks so much better when he was like, you know, short hair with Red Lantern, Green Lantern mix and all that fun stuff. He looked a lot better.
He looked fine when like Sinestro Corps War, sure, but he's always been my least favorite Green Lantern anyway.
He's everybody's least favorite. Maybe this girl now, because she is the teenage, I guess, the teen Lantern, Kelly Quintella.
So she's
this
like
is from like the Little Justice League that Bendis was doing.
Young Justice. Wasn't there like a little Green Lantern like 20 years ago? It was like that, like not Young Justice, maybe it was called Young Justice, but it was like when there was like Teen Lobo and shit like that.
That wasn't that long
What
ago.
a bad idea that was.
Yeah, what a terrible idea.
I want the Green Lantern that showed up in the Batman Beyond series.
Teen Lobo's still oh no, not that. It's a different. It's like Lobo's daughter.
Oh, like the
Crush.
monk Green Lantern? That was actually kind of a cool take, yeah.
Yeah.
Another book coming out, Robin, #1. Joshua Williamson, Gleb Melnikov. $4, 32 pages, April 27th. After learning of the Deadly League of Lazarus tournament, Damian Wayne has a new mission: winning the tournament and prove he is the greatest fighter in the DC universe. So it's Mortal Kombat with Damian Wayne.
Snap! I've seen this Tank Girl looking character in the artwork. I've seen her previewed on somebody's Twitter earlier. I did not know the association there. I've seen that before.
You gotta read, man. So that's cool. I'm down with Damian. Damian's my favorite Robin.
Damian's such a little Mary Sue, though.
He's a sweet potato pie.
I mean, what else would you expect from the son of Batman? Everything else.
I mean, that's fair, but like all the Robins besides Damian and Dick Grayson don't get a lot of love. So I guess we shouldn't be too surprised with them heaping it more Damian's way.
They're boring. I mean,
my favorite Robin is Tim.
Tim's good. Tim is the purest of heart, I would say. He feels like the most like he actually deserves to be called Robin. But Batman: The Dark Knight. I'm excited for. This is Tom Taylor and Andy Kubert.
That looks cool.
6-issue, April 13th. It's 32 pages at $4. There's a cardstock variant for $5. I think it's this one. Anyway, an epic tale begins that will take Batman on a harrowing, action-packed European adventure. A new miniseries with horrific tragedy in the UK sends a very personal and deadly message to the Dark Knight, one that will draw Batman out of Gotham to investigate. That sounds cool.
So it's not Gotham.
I love the idea that Batman like dresses for his trip there, with the coat.
Yeah, he's got the goggles. He got an extra heavy coat.
He's trying
Tom Taylor is a writer that I trust. I'll probably check this out.
Exactly. He's got me reading Nightwing. I mean, shit. Seriously, Nightwing. Come on. They're also doing, and I got to find it. Here it is. The Next Batman, Second Son, #1. John Ridley. And art by Tony Atkins, Travel Foreman, and Mark Morales. I don't know why it needs so many artists. $5, 40 pages, 4-issue miniseries out on the 6th of April. Readers now know that after the events of Future State, Tim Fox is the next Batman. But what's his origin story? Why has he been estranged from Lucius Fox and his family for so long? Connected to the dramatic events of Infinite Frontier #1, these questions will be answered. So, I mean, basically, the new lineup at DC is this right here.
Batman,
and more and more and more Batman. They're also doing like a Scooby-Doo. Batman and Scooby-Doo.
Does the Scooby-Doo have Batman in it? Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
It's Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries. They are doing Challenge of the Super Sons by Tomasi and Rayner.
Huh.
That's going to be dope. That's on the 13th, $4, 7-issue miniseries. The boys are back, picking up where they left off.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't John like significantly older than Damian after Bendis's run, or am I getting that wrong?
He is, but as far as I know, this does not include any of that.
I wonder if we're just going to get to the point where we pretend Bendis's stuff never happened.
Well, I think we're already there. At least it's to some extent. You know what I mean? But that's about it. They do have some other books coming out in April. Most of them are continuations and things like that. But again, it's mostly just a lot of Batman.
Batman will save DC.
Batman is consistently their most popular character, so it's not that we should be surprised by,
Yeah. Now on.
But yeah, Marvel. You only mentioned it is kind of a thing though, where like of all the ones you mentioned, only one of them wasn't Batman adjacent.
Yeah, it's all Batman. Anyway, moving on to Marvel. Some news. This is not everything that Marvel, as far as I know, is putting out new in April, but this is a lot of the highlights. The Mighty Valkyries, #1 of 5. Jason Aaron and Tornin Grønbæk. We love that name. Matea de Eulis is doing the art, and holy shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
That art is
wow, that's nice.
damn amazing. That
I saw
bear is
these art.
jumping out.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
saw
Taylor.
the art being shared, I think, on the site earlier this week, and it looks freaking amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Like, this is definitely, even if I was probably going to pick this up anyway, I'm a fan of Jason Aaron's stuff he's been doing with Jane Foster. And yeah, but even if I wasn't, I'd pick this up for the art. That looks
it's beautiful.
marvelous.
It looks like it's going to have a Loki-inspired sort of villain, big cosmic mythical. Not really much else to say. Just a lot of good art, and it's Jason Aaron, so you're not going to go wrong there. 5-issue miniseries announced for April. Moving on, another Marvel book. This is actually Miles Morales Spider-Man number 25. It starts a new Clone Saga.
Do we really need another Clone Saga?
Salin Ahmed, Carmen Carnero. We know it's going to look good with Carmen doing the art.
Yeah. Gomer and I were talking about this before the show started. Clone Saga is not liked. It's not it's not a beloved part of comics past, but it is one that almost everyone knows, or at least has heard of.
And that's why.
So it has the name recognition factor, but
promoted.
it's also it's more famously bad though than
I know.
it is.
So, with that said, I have faith in Ahmed. You know, Salin Ahmed has done nothing bad. I read the first arc of this Spider-Man. It was good. So yeah, I'm on board. I'm going to read that issue 25. So that'll be good. But remember what Peter told him. Don't let anyone clone you. Seriously. And only date one girl at a time. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that issue. I don't know. I guess it's going to be a full arc. Who knows if it'll have tie-in stories. You figured it would, man. It's something that big.
Is there stuff going on in the current arc that's leading you to believe that his DNA is being...
No, there's nothing like that.
Okay.
That's how the clone saga was originally. You didn't know until you knew.
Yeah, but it was the clone. But the villain.
They were playing it for a while, like
20-something years ago. Before the clone
saga. More than closer to 30, I think, than 20 at this point, isn't it? But
yeah,
but yeah, they were playing it for a while. Like Ben Reilly was the real Peter Parker, and Peter Parker was the clone. But I don't know. They were wanking the audience around a lot on that one. Probably a big part of why it's not very fondly remembered at this point.
Like a Red Hulk. It's like a Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Finally, Dark Hawk, Heart of the Hawk #1 has been announced. The 30th anniversary of the character. Dark Hawk's okay. It's going to be Danny Fingeroth, Dan Abnett, Kyle Higgins with Mike Manley, maybe Manley, Andrew DeVito, and more. So, yeah. Man, Dark Hawk has had like 3 different iterations of the character. He's been cosmic. He's been street level. So I don't know what this is going to be. Probably a lot of both.
Stop trying to make Dark Hawk happen, Mark.
Yeah, stop trying to make Dark Hawk.
I mean, yeah, Dark Hawk has never gotten any higher than like the D tier. You know,
no, I would say maybe a little bit better than that. He was hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy during Annihilation.
Dude,
liked him.
Not much of a pedigree. Before the movie came out, who the fuck cared who was on the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Just me who read the event that was being
Annihilation was awesome, but Guardians has always been a book. Before the movie came out, it became like this huge franchise for them. You know, before that, they could put whoever the fuck they wanted on the Guardians. Guardians was basically the which of these cosmic characters who could not stand on their own legs should we put on this team so they can have some circulation type of deal.
Even after that, the Thing was on that team. Kitty Pryde was on that team for a while. Venom was on that team.
Very early 2000s, Guardians of the Galaxy was basically a cosmic Suicide Squad.
They still should be. They are kind of like that in the movies. You know? I mean, they're not like bounty hunting.
Suicide Squad tried so hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy. The movie did.
That's why it failed.
But,
that's why it failed. They tried too hard to be something else.
It was all style and no substance. And Guardians of the Galaxy had a lot of substance underneath the style. So,
all right, movie and screen stuff. It's word that Charlie Cox has wrapped up Spider-Man filming, even though we haven't had confirmation that he's actually filming. So it's a rumor on top of a rumor. My favorite kind.
I can't remember the last time there were this many rumors around a movie, you know, with like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire and Daredevil and Doctor Strange are all supposed to be in there.
It's big hype, man. Can it live up to it? I don't know. It's a Sony movie. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
The Spider-Man movies were just okay. The new ones with Tom Holland, they were just okay. I think I prefer the ones with Tobey Maguire.
The ones with Tobey Maguire, except for the third one, had a lot of heart in them.
The original Tobey Maguire movies are always going to. I'm always going to have a fondness for them. They're always going to have a place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
They are part of that line of movies, though, that it's hard to go back and watch now. The superhero movie landscape has changed so much. Yeah. They take themselves so much more seriously. They're so much less campy. And even the ones that from bygone years that I like, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
No,
it is. We'll see what happens there. What's his name? What? Hawk? Who?
Oh, Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke.
He's going to be the bad guy in Moon Knight.
I always want to say Ethan Hunt, and I'm like, no, that's the dude from Mission Impossible.
That's the dude from Mission Impossible.
Yeah. So Ethan Hawke is gonna. Who is the Moon Knight villain? Who is the?
Moon Knight doesn't have a very good rogues gallery, so it could be anyone, I guess. But
anybody. Mephisto. It could be.
He might be. If you're going who I think Ethan Hawke looks the most like, he might be that guy who is like the avatar of Raw from that relaunched series from a few years ago.
Okay,
maybe.
You don't think he's going to be Bushman?
I don't think so. I don't think they'd cast a black character with a white actor.
Oh yeah, they're not going to do that.
They do not want to open up that shitstorm. But
yeah. What was the other news before WandaVision? A movie. Was there a movie?
Yeah, that Chris Evans. Apparently, there's a lot of rumors. He might be stepping back into his role as Captain America. But Chris Evans himself has said that, that's news to me.
Yeah.
But
I love the rumor.
Assuming that it's true, I guess we don't. I guess the most likely place would be in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where he's either they're having a flashback of him, which is plausible. That could be a good inclusion to the show. Or he could show up again as old man Cap and be like, "No, Stam, I gave the shield to you for a reason," or something like that. He could show up for
he could show up
for a Darkest Hour pep talk or something. That would be a good way to include him there too.
Yeah.
Or he could show up in one of them videos. So you got yourself in trouble,
Yeah. Some of the rumors were Hydra Cap.
No, I hate that idea.
It's not going to happen. I don't think so. My favorite rumor is he comes back for his own 7 or 8 episode limited series on Disney Plus where Cap returns the Infinity Stones.
That could be a lot of fun. I'd watch the hell out of that.
So
I want to see the interaction between him and the Red Skull.
Well, that would have to be one of the last episodes or the first episode, maybe.
That would be a big moment, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what people want to see, man. I would love to see him go back and hang out with the Ancient One, and then they just start rapping, and she's like, "Oh yeah, hey, by the way, you want to go do this other thing with me, hopping through time." Spin off the Ancient One and Captain America hopping through time. Only on Disney Plus. Yeah, only on D Plus.
Time Cap.
I would watch the hell out of that, dude. And then,
we joke, but I would watch it.
Here's your Exile show. I got into a discussion with somebody earlier this week about how you think the X-Men should be introduced into the Marvel Universe. And I think they should introduce 5 concurrent series, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, each with a different mutant or mutant team or something like that. And just a fucking X-Men bomb on everybody all at once for an entire season. And they were like, wow.
That could be a way to do it. I mean, apparently they are doing the brain trust right now, trying to get together to decide how best to integrate the X-Men into the MCU, which that's a tricky inclusion because when you include the X-Men, you have to bring in a lot of the societal pressures around them because that's kind of their whole point, right?
Yeah.
So they have not establish the idea that, hey, by the way, mutants are a thing and they face a lot of
I have a
stigma and
theory.
ostracization.
I have a theory on that. Let's say within the MCU, 30, 40 years ago, mutants were out and about and bad shit happened. So then Professor Xavier made a deal with the SHIELD government or whatever, the SHIELD Council, where I'll just erase everybody's memory that the mutants ever existed. If SHIELD finds a mutant, you let me know. If I find a mutant, I'll let you know. And we just move right into where the mutants have been living on an island in the Pacific where no one knows anything. And then you can jump right into House of X and Powers of 10, where I know, but I'm just saying that is a way in.
House
of X and Powers of 10 is hard, though, dude. It's
that
hard.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea per se, except that it would kind of part of what makes
it. It would ruin it.
Part of what makes Dawn of X work well like it does is that it's a radical shift in the status quo from what you were used to.
Yeah.
And
well, that's what I mean by you have to.
It wouldn't hit as hard if that's just where we're starting. You know?
You need to do that in along with a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday X-Men show for a whole season.
That would give us the current comic collecting experience with X-Men.
Exactly. You just need to binge the hell out of X-Men. Yeah.
Where was it in Endgame? When was that? Where was that earthquake? When they were
off the coast of Africa.
Okay,
that felt kind of like a an Atlantis thing and a Namor thing to me.
If it's anything, it's that. It could also be nothing. It really could.
Yeah,
it could just be some innocuous throwaway thing.
Yeah.
But we don't need to like.
It could. I'm picking that shit apart.
Well, we've also introduced
looking for stuff under every rock here.
No bullshit.
I know, but we're going
to talk about introduced where you do have to look for everything under every damn rock.
Well, obviously. We've also introduced the concept of like hidden dimensions and stuff with Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that's coming.
If they're just being imported from another dimension, that's also a bad way to do it. I think.
No, but they use magic to cloak stuff. That could have been done with Doctor Strange.
That's really the same thing that Gomer was saying then.
I know, yes.
The methodology is different, but the storytelling effect is the same if you do it that way.
Yeah.
I prefer Gomer's method over just magic bullshit happens and now there's mutants,
Yeah. But speaking
of got imported from the 615 universe or what the fuck ever.
Yeah. But speaking of picking apart every damn thing, WandaVision premiered 2 episodes on Disney Plus, 2 30-minute episodes.
That was a good segue.
It really was. At this point in the show, there is basically no narrative at all. Okay? There's no narrative story. It hangs everything on nostalgia, Easter eggs, and just being weird as hell. But there's this mystery because we know something else is going on.
And
that's what's keeping me hanging on.
That's not necessarily wrong, but they're doing a damn good job at that so far.
That's not really a critique. It's just I'm not sure I've ever watched any other show or movie for that matter that gets an hour into it and there's no narrative. It's jarring, and I can understand some people complaining about, those things, but it's 9 episodes. It's like a 5-hour movie, and you're an hour in.
They are leaning really heavily into the benefit of the doubt that they have built up for over 10 years now.
Exactly.
That
they're spending capital is what they're doing. They're spending.
If this was not an MCU show, I might have watched these first 2 episodes, but then I probably might have been like, I'm going to check back in weeks and weeks later so that I have a lot to watch at once. But because this is an MCU show, I'm back next week. I'm back the week after that.
Yeah. So we did get Easter eggs. That's the biggest thing. This was my favorite one. That's the Grim Reaper's helmet.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's just, and that we don't know if that means anything.
I did not notice that the first time.
Yeah. My favorite part of it is these commercials, though.
Yes.
That are directly connected to the rest of the MCU movies. This was from the second episode where it's a Strucker watch with the Hydra logo and everything. And the Toastmate, which is the Stark Toastmate.
Yeah.
I love that because Vision is literally a toaster. They call him a toaster in at least, I think in the MCU, they actually mentioned something about him being an inanimate object in terms of the elevator. But in King's Vision, he straight up is called a toaster. So, and these are the same two actors, or the actor and the actress who were in the Strucker commercial. I think these are Wanda's parents, dude. I think this is like some weird flashback that she's having.
But that
I
was
don't know
also
about that, but
that toaster
these
was also the
commercials.
first time.
Go
ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
That toaster was also the first time they used any other color than black and white.
Yes. Yeah, for that blinking red light. That blinking red light was reminiscent of the bomb that goes off, that Stark bomb, you know, it hit in Iron Man 1 and then Tony gets blasted.
Mhm.
Because that's the same thing that happened to the Maximoff kids. You know, Wanda and Peter were whatever.
Under the
in
bed.
the room with a bomb, yeah, and it killed their parents. So
and it was a Stark Industries bomb.
Yeah. Go ahead, Taylor.
The most overt thing from these commercials is that both of them have like a ticking clock going on.
Yes.
Like, and they let it linger on them not doing anything. It's just listening to this ticking going on. These are instances, one of the few instances in both these episodes where the veil starts to kind of part a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
One thing I'm super impressed by with the show so far is the way that they're creating this very uneasy tension with the audience, you know? Most of the first episode was just a straight up Dick Van Dyke, you know, wacky couple sitcom hijinks type of deal.
Well, I mean, the boss almost died. I mean, Vision literally had to be a superhero to save that guy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Until we get to the part where that's happening, where he's choking and the wife gets caught in the stop it loop. Not only was that really unnerving to like watch that play out for an uncomfortably long time, they also changed the way they were filming it. That was most of the episode. We had like the classic, like the stationary camera zoomed back, kind of like, you know, your I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke way of shooting the scene. But there, for the first time, we are zoomed in on their faces. They are in sharper focus than they have been the entire time, and it doesn't stop until Wanda tells Vision to go ahead and intervene. And that's, I think, something that's important here is that Wanda does seem to be exerting a lot of control over the situation, at least to an extent.
Even in that episode, even at the end of that scene, Wanda sort of like, who am I? Where am I? What was our? It's like she's trying to think of her past. And if you look at that scene, the camera is straight on, just on Wanda. Vision's back is actually turned to the camera on that scene. You know what I mean? It does, like you said, I think it tells a lot about what's going on just in that first episode.
Yeah. The inciting incident for that happening was these, I guess we'll say other characters. We don't really know what they are, I guess.
Yeah.
But these other characters started questioning the premise that we don't really have answers to. Yeah. And as that was happening, that's when everyone else gets stuck in a loop and the boss starts dying. And Vision doesn't do anything at all until Wanda tells him to intervene, you know?
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yes. It just sets the stage that we know Wanda is the one that's having these experiences.
She might be trapped by some... Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
She might be trapped by some outside force because like that radio in the second episode comes in is like, who's doing this to you, Wanda? And maybe it is her. Maybe it is. She definitely is trapped in her own mind, at least to some extent, I think.
That's the impression I would get.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, when the beekeeper shows up, which incidentally, a lot of people are speculating that that's that Nazi made out of bees, maybe, but I don't know. Whatever.
There's also talk that that's AIM. I don't believe that either. I don't think that's. I could see it,
a way. It could be. It could be. But
I don't know.
The fuck if I know right now, you know?
Yeah, exactly, dude.
But anyway,
I know it could be Lube Man or whatever from Watchmen, you know?
But the big takeaway to me from that scene is that Wanda is like, no. And then it rewinds back to them being in the house again.
Yeah. So she at least knows who B-Man is, who the beekeeper is.
Maybe.
I think that's important because she doesn't know who... Because she doesn't know who Monica is. Monica Rambeau is in there, and she doesn't realize she's calling her Geraldine or whatever. That's Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
From that's already been teased in the promotion that's Monica.
Yeah.
So that's an important thing.
She doesn't even know who she is. Yeah.
Exactly. So when Wanda calls her Geraldine, Monica's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm Geraldine. Like she was just waiting for the name cue from Wanda. You know what I mean? So it's almost like somebody has not only taking control of what's going on in terms of the beekeeper coming in there, like there's some sinister shit going on, but it also feels like there's somebody trying to help Wanda in this situation. The helicopter was definitely something there with
the helicopter
helicopter.
It was painted up in Iron Man colors. So
exactly, yes. There's something going on. There's something going on there.
So and then we also. My best guess right now is that somebody has kind of manipulated Wanda to be trapped in her own mind, maybe. But she's to some extent a willing participant because she is exerting some control of the situation. And it seems like forces from the outside are trying to get through to her, like with the radio, like with the helicopter. And I think that Agatha Harkness is probably trying to steer her out of what's going on. I think it'll be interesting once we know what's going on to go back and watch these first couple of episodes and pay close attention to what all Agatha is telling her.
I think it's Agnes. Aren't they calling her Agnes?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Agnes.
But I think her name in the comics is Agatha Harkness. But anyway, at one point, somebody says to her, "Oh, the devil is in the details," and she says, "That's not the only place he is." That's a line. The devil is in Marvel Comics is Mephisto, which is the going, whatever bet that that's the one who's manipulating everything. I think it's Nightmare, and that's sort of a deep dive Marvel character. But it's still, he lives off dreams, he lives off people's subconscious, and keeps them under control while he's doing it. So
I would lean towards a. Go ahead.
At first, I thought it might have had some connection to S.H.I.E.L.D. because in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they have these machines where people are trapped in like simulations and stuff.
Yeah.
And
that's what
Wanda,
the movie kind of was.
And she's dealing, with she's dealing with like the death of her brother and the death of Vision, and it's gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
She's in this machine and she is able to control elements of it. I don't know exactly how, but I also saw some things about Easter eggs revolving around S.W.O.R.D.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of S.W.O.R.D. Easter eggs. The Notebook, the person who's watching the television at the end of I guess it's the first episode, has a S.W.O.R.D. notebook. The S.W.O.R.D. emblem is on there. And S.W.O.R.D. doesn't stand for like sentient world, whatever.
Observation and response department.
It's all that, but it's now sentient weapon. That's been changed, and that was spoiled in promotion as well. I wish I'd have had that. I wish I'd have gotten that. Anyway, yeah, we're on for the long haul. We'll talk about that every week for the next,
I'm sure,
8 weeks. So, moving on to food news, potatoes are back at Taco Bell.
Woohoo!
Cheesy Fiesta potatoes and spicy potato. Sorry, let me put the right one up there. Will be back permanently starting on March 11th. Spicy potato soft taco will be $1. The Cheesy Fiesta potatoes are $1.50. That's at participating locations, and that is suggested retail price. You can also swap meat for potatoes on any of Taco Bell's menu items if you're looking for a veggie-friendly option. Potato.
Your potato quesadilla. Your potato Crunchwrap Supreme.
Why are you laughing at that? The potatoes are delicious.
They are, but this really does seem like Taco Bell is getting out of their lane.
Man,
they
did this as a test, right? And
they've had stuff like this before.
They were bullied back. The internet bullied
Just
them
because
back.
they've done it before doesn't mean that it was a good idea.
Well, have
you ever had the Fiesta Bowl? The Cheesy Fiesta potatoes?
I have not. I don't eat a lot of Taco Bell in general, but
they had a burrito that was a beef and potato burrito at one point.
It's fucking delicious. Okay,
Taco Bell is not real Mexican food, but
it's not.
I at least appreciate them pantomiming giving you Mexican food. Not like these like hash brown bowls or whatever the fuck this is.
Yeah. It's delicious. I love I'm just gonna keep this up the rest of the show.
Yay!
That's it for the news. Let's move on to some comics.
Comics.
I'll start off this week. I did read some Future State.
I don't like it.
I also read Seven Secrets #6 for my honorable mention. This series would make a wonderful animated series. It's very good. Tom Taylor and Daniel Di Nicola. Also, my actual honorable mention, and David's probably going to have this on his top 3, so I shouldn't even mention it. Serial #1 by Terry Moore. It's the next installment following Zoe from Rachel Rising in 5 years. It's simply wonderful. Terry Moore can just do no wrong at all. You should give him all your money. Just give him all your money. Did I mention the potatoes are back?
You gotta let that one go, Gomer.
My number 3 pick is Sword #2 by Al Ewing and Valerio Schiti. Some cool moments in this, but the reason it didn't go any higher or any lower, it didn't go any lower because there weren't just that many books out that I read or even wanted to read. But it's bogged down in this King in Black event a little bit.
It's a real shame that their second issue is already getting roped into an event.
And it wasn't a bad issue.
It's entirely appropriate.
It is.
Yeah, it's entirely appropriate that they be involved in the event, but
exactly. But that first issue established so much. I want the book to. I want it to survive. I want it to exist within its own context and not the context of this event. But you're right. It works for the event, but it's some great moments. But the art was amazing. But yeah, King in Black. Anyway, that was my number 3. We'll just go around. Dave, you can go next.
Honorable mention is going to be Commanders in Crisis #4.
There's full frontal nudity in this.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
There is.
It was hot, super hot scene in this sex scene too.
Yep.
It was amazing.
But that's not why I picked it, but
yeah, it was.
That's what Gomer wants to talk about, apparently.
That's what I want to talk about. That was my takeaway from it. Damn, that was some hot sex going on in that book.
But we get introduced, or we finally figure out that the big bad is another version of Nina.
Yeah, the main chick, the president, the leader of the Commanders. Yeah.
Yes. Basically,
Same
we
thing
have
happened in Future State Justice League. Believe it or not.
Yeah, I didn't read that. But this Nina who laughs is basically like, you didn't come,
and that's not what they're calling her.
I'm calling her that. But yeah, this has actually been a really good series. It's really picking up steam. Just it's so different from like a lot of other things right now.
This is basically a crisis on indie universe. Literally, the writer just wanted to do his own event book, but didn't want to have the baggage of any of the continuity.
So
it's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, reality
book. It's going to read amazing in trade. It's going to read amazing.
Continuity can be a shackle sometimes.
Yeah,
so that's an interesting way to take it, I guess.
Realities are collapsing, and basically Nina is bringing like the presidents of the United States from different realities to her reality to stop the collapse of reality.
And oddly enough, all of the presidents of the United States from these different realities are like superpowered individuals.
Yep.
It's weird, dude. It works so well. Yeah.
I don't know if did they have powers before they come to the reality, or did they have powers after the reality?
That's how they became president. In one of the cases, the dude literally used his power of persuasion to become president. It was like the biggest landslide ever. He got like 200 million votes or whatever they said.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, I think that's issue 3.
Actually, I missed issue 3.
It's good, man. It's a good series. Good choice. Good choice.
Well,
moving on. Taylor, number 3.
No, I didn't do number 3.
That was your honorable mention, I thought, right?
Yeah, that was an honorable mention.
Honorable mention?
Yeah.
Man.
Homesick Pilots #2.
I didn't read
Is this your actual number 3?
This is my actual number 3. This is I'm finally getting a better understanding of what the Homesick Pilots are.
It's a band.
No. What the Homesick Pilots in the Nuclear Bastards are a band.
I thought the Homesick Pilots were the other band
I forget what
with the girl who
That's-
Oh
becomes,
my fucking god! Just move on.
who becomes a ghost.
Okay,
Well, David actually said, he's like, I finally know who the Homesick Pilots are.
okay.
Okay, who are they?
All right. Have you ever heard of the stories about like these towns out west, like in Wyoming and Idaho, where it's like old mining towns, and if people take these items from these towns, like they get like hauntings and strange occurrences, and like they will send the stuff back to the town that they got it from.
Oh, I've heard about it just now.
Okay. Well, the premise of this is that haunted house in the first issue, items have been taken from the haunted house. And 7 items have been taken from the haunted house.
One of them the toilet.
One of them is the toilet.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
They mentioned that in the first issue, Taylor.
They did.
I'm not being crass.
They did that. But these items are all individually possessed by ghosts that want to go home.
To the haunted house.
Back to the haunted house. And so the house has taken control of the girl to retrieve, Amy is her name, to retrieve these items. And the first item she goes after is a horseshoe that gives this lady incredible luck.
Yeah, I saw that at the end that was at the end of the first issue.
That was at the end of the first issue.
Cool.
She shows up at the apartment where this lady is at.
Yeah.
In this, she's explaining that the horseshoe is possessed by a ghost, and the ghost wants to go back home. And what has happened is the ghost in the horseshoe has taken possession of the lady that has the horseshoe.
Lady, the lucky lady.
The lucky lady. And has been giving her all kinds of good luck. She survived like a very bad car crash that involved like the car flipping and catching on fire, and she come out of it without a scratch. But in the end, Amy defeats the girl, retrieves the horseshoe, and the girl's like, I don't want to live anymore, and ends up committing suicide.
The luck lady.
The luck lady.
Oh my gosh, that's the kind of series this is going to be. It's all just going to end on a downer every.
I don't know if it's going to end on a downer. This particular
last ended on a downer. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't read this.
But there's also the side story going on about her bandmates trying to figure out what happened to her because they can't get back in the house because the house has kicked them out. And
after it murdered a guy.
After it murdered a guy, it ripped a guy apart and ate the guy.
It was dope panel, like the pipes in the building, the water pipes in the house, like tentacled this kid alive. It was,
but it's really got a lot of really good clean art in it, a lot of good sequential storytelling.
Nice.
I like the art style, and I now that I kind of have a better idea of the concept behind it, I'm on board. Because that first issue, I was kind of like, I actually did say I thought like the house was going to be like a kaiju, and she was going to pilot it.
It's Warehouse 13.
It is
Friday the 13th, the series.
But the kids they ran away from like a rave or basically an unlawful gathering for a party or something, and they run into the cop that the kid kicked as they were trying to escape. And now the kids are like, our friend is gone. We don't know what's happened to her. And the cop's like, I don't care. So there's that interesting story because Amy is not a ghost, but she is being possessed by the house to retrieve these items.
Yeah.
And then the horseshoe in the house becomes a character and tells her that there are 7 items that she has to retrieve.
7 more.
7 more.
Okay.
Or at least there were it makes
number 7. Lucky
or it indicates that there's 7 more items, or that there were 7 total, and that she's gotten 1.
7 total sounds like the usual shtick.
It does. Go with 7 is like the number. It's one of the magic numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those numbers that has like symbolic weight to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now that it's kind of given a much clearer concept of what the story means and what the homesick pilots really are.
Sure.
I'm on board.
Nice. Good choice. I should go back and reread that. Sounds depressing, though. Taylor, honorable mentions.
I picked up some of the Future State books this week, and I guess a couple of those will serve as my honorable mentions here. I picked up the Future State Justice League. I like the backup story with Justice League Dark more than I like the Justice League. It wasn't bad. The big twist at the end is like the Hyper Clan is going to be fighting him now.
I didn't like that.
I did kind of like the whole thing where they're setting up like, and now our evil plan to strike the Justice League shall come to fruition tomorrow. And then like they turn the page. The next day they're all dead. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a fun little like twist on that idea.
I don't understand the Justice League Dark book because I'm not exactly sure, or the Justice League Dark story, because I'm still not exactly sure what the hell Future State is. The monkey should be dead. All those folks should be dead.
The monkey is possessed by Etrigan now. Yeah.
Still, John should be dead. They should all be dead. I don't understand it. Anyway, Future State's just. Let me go back to my.
I don't know. The Justice League Dark stuff does not.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Sorry.
I'll get over it. But either way. The other honorable mention I'll do, I guess, is the Superman Wonder Woman book. Mostly because I liked the little peek into Brazilian mythology that we got from Wonder Woman's side of things. That the mythology that they have about the sun and the moon. I've never heard that story before, and I really enjoyed that. So if nothing else, I enjoyed that part.
I did not read that one.
I also liked Solaris and Cow, I think is the son's name, getting into basically a dick measuring contest over who could be the better son. But
weird. Yeah, I didn't read that.
It was interesting enough. One thing was weird about this though is that like whoever was drawing Superman in this issue, they made him a bit like bulkier than all the other iterations I've seen of him so far, and they gave him a cape, which I haven't seen so far.
Yeah,
so
that's like been.
I don't know if they're just like. Yeah, I don't know if they're doing their own thing with him or if they just didn't get the right reference, but I don't know, man. Whatever.
It's been like a noticeable thing that John isn't wearing a cape in Justice League.
Yeah, it distinguishes him from his dad, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
But and also that he's noticeably skinnier than Clark is a good thing. Yeah. And neither of those things are present in this book, which was weird. Yeah. But either way. Cool. For my number 3, though, I'm going to do Dark Detective. Mostly because I really like the art in this.
Oh, I love the art. Was
really good.
Awesome. It was so good. Who even is the artist?
Tamaki was doing the writing. Rosenberg.
Okay.
Who I think might have drawn the Punisher.
Matthew Rosenberg was the Grifters, but he wrote the Grifters book.
Yeah, and the Grifter is the backup feature in this one, which I enjoyed as well.
Who was the artist?
Pretty good one.
Who was the artist on the Dark Detective?
Or on Grifter.
No, on Dark Detective. Grifter was
Dark
good.
Detective, it was
Dark Detective. The art was done by Brody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was great. It didn't really go anywhere. It was like, I don't know.
Not much.
Nothing
I'm
happened.
okay with things not going somewhere.
Nothing happened.
We're being given the status. Just fuck.
No,
shut up,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
They're establishing the status quo, which is that people think that Batman and Bruce Wayne are dead, and once again, people don't piece together that they died at the same time. They must be the same person. But I guess that's just. That's how they always do it. So
the one character literally said, "Oh man, Batman died. Oh, Bruce Wayne too. They always happen in threes." And Bruce is there like rolling his eyes, like, "Oh yeah, it happened in threes." Yeah. I was like, "Come on, guys."
I think that the status quo is interesting. Mostly, I am picking this as number 3 because of the art. Some cool fight scenes were worked into this one, which is more than I can say for any of the other Future State books I've read so far. So.
In terms of it being a Future State book, I just wasn't sure what it was trying to do because most of that stuff. Hey, Rare Unicorn, thanks for hanging out. But basically, it was just another one of these things where the hero is trying to decide whether or not he wants to be the hero again, and I'm like, come on, man, and
I didn't get the vibe so much. It was more like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Type of deal is the more. The
How did Bruce Wayne die? How did Batman die?
He was shot by this Peacekeeper #1 dude.
I saw that, and then he comes back, but then Peacekeeper's like, "We did it, we stopped him," and then Batman comes back, and he's like, "Oh man, Batman's back." I don't know. I had a problem with the Grifter story. Was okay. Did you like the Grifter story?
I liked it.
Yeah. Oh, Taylor might have blanked out again. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
That's the thing.
anyway.
All these supporting stories seem to be better than the main story.
Yeah, dude, it was like that for.
That's
for a
consistently
lot
been
of
true for all the Future State books I picked
Yeah.
up so far. Yeah.
All right, moving on. Not number 2. Haha. Number 1. W. Maxwell Prince, Vanessa Del Rey. Bart is a professional clown. He's a husband and a father, but who deals with terrible people, right? He loses his job, and he ultimately, by the end of the book, survives being shot in the head at a botched bank robbery while he goes to cash his severance pay. But haha number 1 is really about life and how terrible life is and how you have to laugh in order to stop yourself from crying. Okay, it's smart and hilarious critique of life, depressing life, but it wrapped around this idea that you have to. I already said that. All these horrible things keep happening to Bart. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's got this optimistic internal monologue that keeps going. Like, for example, he says, yeah, I'm a clown and I've got it made. And then it's a panel of his wife saying, why do you wear that at the breakfast table? And he's dressed as a clown. And he's like, this is my business, my work clothes. I go to work. And he's saying all these amazingly optimistic things about his life. But what's actually happening in the book is just these terrible things happening to him.
Oh, yeah.
That just sounds sad to me, man.
This is my number 2 pick, actually.
Oh, this is my number 2 pick, too. Good. Del Rey's dirty art style just fits perfectly with this like surreal and way too real approach to telling a story that is about life. I mean, honestly, 2020 has been that year where you have to laugh to stop from crying.
I don't know that I'd laugh if I was reading this, though, man. It sounds more like
it's
kind
really
of depressing slog.
Yeah, it is a depressing slog, but the lead character is going through it with a smile on his face the entire time.
I was thinking that this might be more of kind of like
that almost makes it more sad.
I know, but that's what makes it so interesting, because he does get through his day. He gets through things. Literally, he's shot in the head and survives.
Yes.
That's part of it. The worst possible thing happened to him and he still made it through.
The paramedic.
What did he make it through to? You're right, Taylor. It is depressing.
He has all these bad things happening to him.
Yeah.
And like after he gets shot through the head, and it's one of the like really just a really strange sequence where it's like 4 panels of just the bullet going through him.
Falling Down. Have you ever seen the movie Falling Down?
That is what I liken it to. That Michael Douglas movie, Falling Down.
Yeah.
But
he doesn't really have a break in this.
No, he doesn't have a break. Everybody else has a break around him.
But exactly, everybody else in the book has a break around him. He's the opposite of falling down. He's sort of like falling up. Every terrible thing that happens to him, he still has a smile on his face and comes through it at the end. I don't know, man. There's this weird poetry to it that it stuck with me. I actually read this earlier in the week, and yeah, it stuck with me all week long. And I read it again right before the show, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely a book that's got to go on my list. It's more of an anthology series. The next issue is going to be a different story with a different artist.
But
and W. Maxwell Prince
another clown?
Yeah, it looks like it from the cover of the next issue. But W. Maxwell Prince is really good at this. He's been doing this sort of thing on Ice Cream Man, where he's got this unique take on horror. And yeah, dude, this was wonderful. I think you would appreciate it nonetheless.
Yeah, it's very stark in contrast because it's like, the clown is supposed to be, for the most part, a funny character that tells power the truth and generally doesn't get his head chopped off for it. We have like the jester of the court, is this foolish character, and he has this kind of rose tinted outlook on the world. He loses his job. His best friend mugs him. He goes to the bank and a robbery happens. He gets shot in the head, and it's this. And there was like at one point, he's talking about all these awful things had the inner monologue where all these awful things happened to him, and the paramedic was like, "You must be the luckiest son of a bitch ever alive."
And that's how the book starts. He said, "I'm the luckiest dude alive because he's a professional clown with a terrible job, because he's got a wife, because he's got kids." I don't know, man. It was a great issue. Very, very good issue.
But he didn't walk away from the experience unaffected because the artwork towards the end changes drastically.
It's sort of like his family are balloon made out of balloons.
He didn't walk away from that.
I know, Taylor. I know. It was
bullet
like
wound
that kind of weird
unscathed.
Thing. Yeah. Where maybe his outlook on life changed a little bit. I don't know. It was hard to tell. It was deep. It had a lot of great things going for it. And again, it really stuck with me, man. It really, if a book can do that, I'm definitely going to pick it. Good choice for number 2, David.
Thank
Good
you.
choice.
But you actually stole my thunder with the falling down. I was going to compare it to that.
For my number 2, I'm doing Immortal Hulk number 42.
Oh, anytime there's an Immortal Hulk issue.
Anytime Immortal Hulk is out, it's somewhere in my top 3. Nice. This one is only number 2 because it is kind of a transition issue where we're getting used to our new status quo. The leader has an interaction with, basically Satan, and figures out that, this was a bad plan, and then basically gets taken over by Satan.
Oh, wow.
The one below all, but
sure.
But and then the thing I enjoyed the most about this issue is apparently Doc Samson and Gamma Flight, who have been tasked with taking down the Hulk, they are getting shit canned and replaced with the UFOs. But I loved the standoff between what's his name, Gyrick, and he's like the guy in like every Marvel comic who shows up to be the asshole government shithead.
Yeah, he's the government heel for Marvel.
Yeah. And he's doing that here, and I like the little conversation he had with Doc Samson, where like he's trying to whip his dick around and be all like, yeah, I'm in charge here, type of thing, and like Samson's just like casually ignoring him, and he starts scratching a smiley face onto the window, and if he punches through it, he will kill Gyrick and everyone else in that room. And that kind of makes Gyrick shrivel up real fast. And I enjoyed that. He's like, you're bluffing. You want to do it? It's like, I was dead, and I enjoyed dead more than I enjoyed coming back. So, yeah, I will fucking do it.
Nice. Some cool character work by Al Ewing is what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
That drives
a lot of that going around.
Yeah. That drives right into my number 1 pick. Are you done? You want me to go?
Well, there's not much that's happening in this issue. Sure. We're setting up the final. This is supposed to end with issue number 50, so we are coming into the end game now. And I guess the other big status quo change going into this final arc here is that Jackie McGee, who's been sort of our on the Earth perspective for all of this, turns out she's a Gamma Mutate now because she's been hanging out with the Hulk too much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cool. So we'll see how that pans out, but I love the hell out of this series. It's always going to be in my top 3 unless something is just really weird about that week. So
cool. Moving on. My number 1 pick, sort of off the heels of Taylor saying that his Immortal Hulk pick was because of amazing character writing. Marauders number 17 by Gary Duggan and Matteo Lally. This book is just doing everything right. It's equal parts continuation of the story that's inherent to this series as we see more fallout from Kate's death, or actually murder, by Shaw, the changes being made to the Hellfire Trading Company. But it's also setting up things to come in this series. There's a Hellfire Gala that's been announced with heads of state ambassadors, metahumans. There's this weird social commentary that's coming up as Kate goes to repay the people who helped her in Madripoor. Actually, they helped Lockheed when he escaped Sebastian in Madripoor. She pays them off, but learns that Madripoor is trying to kick them out of their shit town. So the Hellfire Trading Company is just buying up the entire neighborhood and giving it to them. But Madripoor obviously sees that as them getting a foothold in their territory. but there's the new status quo, that is, post House of X, Powers of 10. The Crucible. Storm was chosen by Callisto to be her new Apocalypse in the Crucible, so that Callisto can be murdered by a fellow mutant and then resurrected. And there's just this great emotional, just 3 or 4 pages. I've got some art on it. This is after Storm, obviously, with one punch, just kills Callisto, and then brings her triumphantly back. And then Callisto has this moment where because of her mutant power, she's able to see and experience Krakoa in this unique way. It just adds to everything that, has been built up in this new X-Men status quo. But it's also got just really smart writing and fun character moments. It's just everything that an X book should be in this current point, in the new status quo. Complexity built off subtlety. This is one of the little notes. It's from the X desk. The X desk is the CIA, that CIA department that's checking out the mutants and the Hellfire. They're talking about the Hellfire Gala here. I love this part. The War Games boys laughed and said it'd be a good opportunity to decapitate the governments of the human world, and they don't seem to like it when I asked what's stopping them from doing that now. It's just all around, man. It's a well-constructed book with just amazing writing at all levels and damn good art by Matteo Lally. X-Men, the X-Books really could have dropped the ball after Ten of Swords. A lot of people argue that Ten of Swords did drop the ball, but they haven't skipped a beat, and every damn one has been great, and this has been my favorite one post Ten of Swords. So I read it 3 times, dude. I could not get enough of it. There was so much good stuff happening in this book. Taylor, you said you missed the boat on this. Pardon the pun.
I missed the boat on Marauders because I don't always get to the comic shop on time to pick up every book, and this is one that is often sold out by the time I get there. So now there's so many holes in my reading of it now that I don't think I can catch up, which is, that's a shame. I might try to catch up on trade sometime.
Yeah, catch up on the trade. You will definitely be doing yourself a favor. This is arguably, I know it's X-Force. I know X-Force is the best. Sword, I know Sword is really trying to catch up. But Marauders is arguably the best of the X books, in this new status quo. So
even over Flagship?
Flagship is meanders too much for me to put it in,
fair.
As the best. If it had a more cohesive story, the hints he's dropping, and it's a Hickman book. Of course, he's writing top-notch dialogue, top-notch experiences, top-notch characters. But again, we got these, the Golden Girls of the Flowers. We got freaking Brood, getting a seed at one point. We have the Summers family doing all over the damn place. There's a lot going on there. But
it doesn't maintain focus. That is
exactly. True. It doesn't maintain the focus. So yeah, that's my number 1. David.
Number 1, Terry Moore, Serial number 1.
There's nothing.
Terry Moore can do no wrong, in my opinion.
It was so good, man.
It was really good, and there was at that point where a Scotty Young kind of artwork style took over during the dream sequence where Zoe is just going through, and it's but it's great storytelling. Michael Moore's artwork. Why did I say Michael Moore? Terry Moore's artwork is just top notch, and this is also connected to Rachel Rising, which I'm sad to say that was one of the few Terry Moore books I did not read.
Yeah. On the comment, Joe Laws, you're not wrong. Again, X-Men meanders a little bit for me. I'm loving Marauders, dude. You should definitely pick it up if you're not getting it. Excalibur, yes, without a doubt, is the weakest of the books right now. Children of the Atom has gotten pushed back so much. The hype is built. I want to see what's up. But yeah, on to the Terry Moore book. It's impossible to explain what's going on in the book without spoiling everything that's going on in the book.
Yes.
But if you've read 5 years. If you've read Rachel Rising, you know that there's a little girl who's actually 50 years old. She was kept young by a demon, and she was sort of the slave of that demon. She's recently become free of that demon, but it seems like her metaphorical demons may have followed her as some man. Those first few pages where you're just like, oh man, that girl set him up.
Yeah,
that was nuts, dude. But I don't want to spoil it. I don't.
I don't want to spoil it. It's just all I'll say is that there is a serial killer on the loose, and Zoe's on the case.
Yeah, great choice, great book.
And it's a 10-issue series, so it'll be done by the end of this year, and I'm on board. Yeah. I mean, I really wish that 5 years had been a little longer, but this is a great way to make up for
Taylor Moore. Terry Moore, Taylor. Strangers in Paradise.
Echo.
I haven't read too much of his work now.
Yeah, you should, man. Echo, I have all that in issues. It's one of the
I do. I have several of that in issues. Yeah. I did not read Rachel Rising for I forget what reason, and I didn't get in on Motor Girl.
Oh, Motor Girl might be my favorite work of his. It deals with post-war like with veterans and PTSD. It's very well done.
But ever since you basically like clued me in on that that all these books by Moore are in a shared universe, it makes a whole lot more sense now.
Yeah, well, 5 years
was the culmination of that.
Yeah. Strangers in Paradise is probably the creator's most well-known work. It's possibly getting a series at some point. But man, I swear by all his stuff. It's all great. It's all really, really well done.
And Larry at the comic shop is a big fan of Terry Moore, so it's not like it won't be hard to find.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Taylor, wrap us up with numero uno.
Mine's one that you already mentioned. I'm doing Sword number 2 for my number 1. I completely agree that it's a damn shame that we are already having this roped into an event.
Yeah.
It's an event that they should probably be roped into since, dealing with an alien threat and all that crap. But it is kind of a shame that they didn't have more time to run their own route for a bit before getting sidetracked on something else.
Yeah.
That being said, I still enjoy the hell out of this issue. I don't know very many of these characters, but I'm very much enjoying getting to meet them. I like this Mentallo guy. I saw how Fabian Cortez, we really got to see him be like drop his silk on somebody, with Sunfire and everything. It's like, that's the feeling of your shackles falling away,
I liked it better when what's her name says, "Oh man, we doing this again."
Yeah, I enjoyed Frenzy. I enjoyed Frenzy being like, "Oh my fucking god, Magneto, you idiot," type of deal. But the main thing I liked about this book is Abigail Brand is a bad bitch.
She's awesome, dude.
I love how we get that internal memo, basically if she's writing down her journal or whatever, and it's like Mentallo legitimately is the best mutant I can get, not because of his abilities, but because he is loyal to a paycheck and not to the council at Krakoa. Yeah, she is not. Him. Yeah, she is not here for the mutant vision. She is not here for Krakoa and its place in the world. She is using them, and she has it in place where if I need to, I have this guy who I can pay to sell them down the river.
Yeah,
and I really enjoy that.
Space. She's Space Nick Fury. Yeah.
Yeah. I really enjoy that setup she has going. I really enjoyed all of the fight scenes with the Venom dragons or whatever.
Yeah. Sunfire was great. I hate him.
Yeah.
Well, he's always been the character.
He really is. Yeah.
But needs an important question answered.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Important.
But I am anxious for them to get back to doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But it still was a strong issue in spite of what I think was it being shackled by an event really early on here.
Yeah. Like I said, the only problem I had with this issue is I want to see more of the Krakoan stuff and not the King in Black stuff. But it's Al Ewing doing character moments. You know what I'm saying? He does amazing things with the characters, and he has his pulse on Abigail Brand. Perfect. She is the quintessential badass. And it had to have been his work coming off of, because he helped do the Empire. He helped write Empire along with Dan Slott, right?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah. So I like to think that this was his entire plan coming out of Empire, that he wanted to write Abigail Brand, because she hasn't been as good since Al Ewing wrote her at the end of Empire and in Sword, since she was created by Joss Whedon in his Astonishing X-Men run.
Yeah. They've had a hard time knowing what to do with her for a long ass time here.
Yes.
It is cool seeing her be the spy master,
Yes.
And not like Captain Marvel's like bossy sidekick or whatever it was she was in like that Alpha Flight series.
Yeah, even though I like that. It was Marvel Deep Space
I liked
Nine.
Alpha Flight.
I loved it.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's a damn shame that it got cut down before its time in a lot of ways. But I'm enjoying Abigail Brand getting back to form here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But some great things happening in Sword. We have the Protocol 5, which is the Abigail Brand takes control and kidnaps the 5, the Resurrection Protocol folks, from Krakoa to keep them safe. That's whack. She is definitely going to hear some shit for that. And Cable is nullified, and he's able to walk through the gates. That's not great. That's a huge problem for Krakoa moving forward.
Yeah, they've got a lot of weaknesses in these gates that keep getting exploited here. Yeah, like with like the Golden Girls exploited them, and like
Krakoa's the worst. All right, Rare Unicorn over on YouTube. Thanks for listening. He went to the comic store for the first time and spent $175 for 2 books. Is that bad? It was a 1 in 25. Hold on, it was a 1 in 25 Robin King and Batgirl 12 Artgerm cover. No, those are probably okay prices. The 1 in 25 Robin King
is about $70.
Highly sought after book on the spec market. And Artgerm is always big on the spec market. It's difficult to say, Rare Unicorn, because I don't really keep track of that market closely enough to know if 175 is market price or not. Well, I know those books are going for a lot.
The Robin King 1 in 25 is $70 by itself.
Okay, there you go. There you go. David's got the scoop.
Are there? There's a couple of sites that are advertising it for about at minimum $70.
Yeah, and Artgerm variants, Stanley Lau variants, always are sought after all the time. Every time the dude does one, it goes for a lot. So, but we are not the spec show. We do not know. I want to start with some new Marvel. Well, if you're just specking for covers, you're gonna have to just talk to your shop. You know what I mean, and see what they get. Or you're going to have to shop online or stuff like that. But if you want to read some new Marvel, the X books are great. Daredevil's not that far in. What's just started over at Marvel? That's good.
The new Star Wars series.
Yeah, there's a new High Republic Star Wars series that's worth reading.
They're going to have Aliens here soon.
Yeah, Aliens. And Aliens is going to have some good variant drops. You know,
I would reach back into the trades for Immortal Hulk. I'm always gushing on it.
Yeah. And it's had all Alex Ross covers. All of those covers are gold, you know. But awesome. Good questions. And again, thanks for listening, man. We really appreciate it. But that's it. We're booked out. We're newsed out. And I've got a great buzz. I need to go finish my drink. Hey, man, we appreciate you listening. Tell your pals, man. You know,
tell your Ma, tell your Paul.
Yeah, subscribe to the page and all that. But thanks everybody for listening. Thanks everybody for hanging out. We're going to do it again next Sunday. We've also got our Monday night preview show that we'll do tomorrow at 7. This week we have Geek Collection, Aliens, the classic sci-fi horror. We're going to do that Tuesday at 7:30 Central Time, along with the Comic Book Bullies. Eli and Leroy are going to be hanging out, so definitely come back and tune in for that. All week long, though, we've got all kinds of content. Big Willie's pushing Creators Outlet all week, where he's interviewing different writers and artists in the medium. He's also doing unboxing. He's got OK Boomer, where they're reviewing Golden and Silver Age books, him and Thomas. So yeah, check back all through the week to these channels. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, check out those 2 other platforms that you're not on right now. Search out Outright Geekery, like us over there. What else we got? Top 5 Marvel or no Star Wars. Which one are we doing again?
Star Wars.
Top 5 Star Wars is coming up next week. We're also doing that with the Bully, so that's going to be fun. I mean, I can't wait for the Aliens Tuesday. It's going to be so much fun. I love that damn movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a classic. It is. It's just a class. Are you going to hang out for that, Taylor? You want to come hang out? Watch that?
No, I don't think so.
It's up to you, dude. It's up to you. No pressure there. So yeah, thanks again, everybody, for listening. But most of all, thank these 2 jokers for hanging out with this joker. I appreciate it.
Yay!
Hopefully Adam will be back next week, and we'll do it again next time.
Same Geek time, same Geek channel.
Man, I'm glad I cut you off there. Break some speakers. Thanks, Joe Lowe. We appreciate that. Come hang out, man. We'll do it every Sunday.